This is an introduction to the Disability Access Route to Education scheme, known as the DARE scheme, and the disability supports at Trinity College Dublin that is available to you. The Trinity Disability Service, also known as the Trinity Disability Hub, is responsible for the management of disability supports and reasonable accommodations for students with disabilities. Approximately 1,900 students with disabilities are studying at Trinity, and 10% of the total student population have a disability. The Trinity Disability Hub will be located in Printing House Square from 2022. There are 10 staff working at the Trinity Disability Hub, and there's a picture of the Printing House Square. The DARE scheme, also known as the Disability Access Route to Education, you may be aware of. The DARE is a third level alternative admission scheme for school leavers whose disabilities have had a negative impact on their second level education. DARE offers reduced points places to all school leavers who, as a result of having a disability, have experienced additional educational challenges during second level education. There are 25 third level education institutions across Ireland participating in the DARE scheme, and Trinity is one of them. Here are some of the benefits of the DARE scheme. So you can get into your course on reduced points. There is specific orientation programs. So in Trinity we have a specific disability orientation before you start college to get you familiar with supports available to you as a student and get a feel of the campus before you start the other orientation. There is also learning support, assistive technology, exam accommodations, library support, and educational support worker. So this might be a note taker or a scribe or a personal assistant. So these are the supports that could be available to you when you register to the Disability Service here in Trinity. So should you apply for DARE? So if your disability has had a negative impact on your educational performance in school, you should consider applying for DARE. And if you may not be able to meet the points for your preferred course due to the impact of your disability, you should then apply for DARE. Or if you are under 23 years of age, as of the 1st of January in the year you are applying to college, apply for DARE. Even if you think that you will get into your course with the points, there is no harm applying for DARE if you are eligible, so I would just keep that in mind. Here are some disability types that are eligible for consideration. So there's autistic spectrum disorders, including Asperger's syndrome, ADD and ADHD, blind and vision impaired, deaf or hard of hearing, DCD, also known as dyspraxia, mental health condition, neurological condition, including brain injury and epilepsy, speech and language communication disorder, significant ongoing illness, physical disability, and specific learning difficulties, such as dyslexia or dyscalculia. So here's the criteria for DARE eligibility. So you would have to meet the educational impact criteria, and then also meeting the evidence of disability criteria, and that will equal to DARE eligibility. So to be eligible, you have to meet both the DARE educational and evidence of disability criteria. So this slide is just information on how to apply for the DARE scheme. So you can apply through the CAO at www.cao.ie by the 1st of February. And then review your DARE handbook with your parents or guardians, just so you're fully informed on all the key dates so you don't miss out on anything. Complete the Section A of the supplementary information form and apply to DARE by answering yes to question 1 by the 1st of March. And you should start gathering documentation in timely fashion before the 15th of February. And submit the educational impact statement and evidence of disability to the CAO by 15th of March. and visit accesscollege.ie for application timelines and deadlines. So it's really important to keep in mind the timeline and the deadlines, because the dates while you're studying for your exams might creep up on you. So it's best to have maybe a folder with your documentation or a diary with all the key dates so that you don't miss a date or you aren't tight to a deadline. So this is just information on the supplementary information form. So section A is the applicant information. So this is completed by you by 5:15 on the 1st of March. Answer yes to question 1 to apply for DARE and fully complete questions 1 to 5, or answer yes to question 1B to apply to carry forward your DARE eligibility. And then in section B, you fill out the educational impact statement. So this is where you'll say how having disability has impacted you in your education. This could be you mightn't have been able to hear teachers, or you found it hard to concentrate during class. So this is completed by your school and then sent to the CAO by the 15th of March. Then section C is evidence of disability. So this is completed by an appropriate professional. So this could be by an audiologist or your GP. So this is sent to the CAO by the 15th of March. Section B, educational impact statement. This provides information on how your disability has impacted you on second level education. So to do this section, you download the form from your online CAO account. You complete the applicant checklist with your school. Your school will complete the rest following on from your responses to the applicant checklist. This form needs to be completed by your guidance counsellor, learning support teacher, year head, visiting teacher, or principal or deputy principal. The form must be signed and stamped by your school principal or deputy principal. Section C, evidence of disability. So provides verification of your disability and helps to determine third level supports. You can provide an existing report or complete Section C evidence of disability form. Get the form completed, signed and stamped by the appropriate professional or accompanied by their business card or headed paper. Your GP may be in the position to complete Section C evidence of disability if they have the appropriate information on file from the consultant or specialist. So here's just the DARE timeline to keep in mind. So the closing date for DARE and HERE is the 1st of March at 5:15. To upload your supporting documents will be the 15th of March. And then you'll get a notification if you're eligible for the DARE scheme by late June. And then if you mightn't have got DARE, there's a review and appeals application which will happen in July. And then you'll receive your HERE or DARE offers in August. And then you will have a college orientation, usually around late August, early September, depending on which college you choose to go to. Here's just some helpful tips to keep in mind. So study the DARE handbook carefully with your parents and guardians. It's no harm knowing the book inside out, just so that you don't miss out on any key information, because it really is important to not leave out any of the steps or any of the sections. So to also select yes to question 1 on the SIF. Ensure you speak with your teacher early about the educational impact statement. Request the required support and documentation early. Send good quality copies of all pages of the correct documents. Submit all support and documents requested. This is really important just to get, say, ahead of the game and not leaving it last minute, as there might be a good few students in your college year that's also applying for HERE or DARE, which will also need teachers' documentation. So it's always good to be early, and even keeping a folder of all documentation just so everything's organised, and keep a proof of postage, this especially if something gets lost in post. This could happen, so it's always good to just keep a proof that it was posted. either that's a receipt from the post office. And just keep in mind, again, as I said, about the deadlines, because the deadlines can just creep up when you're busy studying for your exams. So it's good to just have even set yourself deadlines, like I need my documentations done a week before the deadline, so that you're not too stressed by the time the deadline rolls around. You can find further information on the DARE and the HERE scheme at Access College at www.accesscollege.ie. And you can also find further information on the CAO website, so cao.ie, and there's more information on SUSI, which is the SUSI grant, which is susi.ie, and then Qualifax at qualifax.ie. This is just a quick slide on disability supports at Trinity. So when you enter college through the DARE scheme, you will then apply online for disability supports at my.tcd.ie, and then from that your DARE documentation would be uploaded to this, and then you'd just write a statement of what supports you may need in college. This could be specific to your disability type, to supports you previously had, or what supports you think you'll need regarding what course you are studying. So this could be with labs or large lecture rooms. So once you have completed this online application, you will then begin your needs assessment to discuss supports. So this will be with your disability officers, who will be your disability officer for the 4 to 5 years you have in college, and this is where you can discuss what issues you might feel that you'll have in college, or what supports you think you will need. And this could be changed. You know, you might be a week or 2 weeks in and realize that your supports mightn't be helpful for you, or you might require something else. So this is something you can discuss with your disability officer. So from that meeting, you then would have a LENS report, which stands for Learning Educational Needs Summary. So this will outline this information that you need. So it's prepared detailing your reasonable accommodations. So this could be extra time in exams, or being in a low distraction venue. You also might require a note taker, or slides in advance of class. So this is outlined in your LENS report, and this is then circulated to your lecturers, who will have access to this. So this just ensures that they also provide the support you need to succeed in third level education. Here's just some of the examples of disability supports available at Trinity. So I mentioned a few of them before. So there's exam accommodation, such as extra time, being low distraction venue, assistive technology. This could be read and write, which is a technology that can be installed onto your laptop to read documents. This could be a screen reader. This could be Roger Pen to hear lectures in class. There's also library support. So if you're registered to the Disability Service, there's some books that you might be able to take out longer than those who aren't registered to the Disability Service, and you might be able to take out a lot more books than other students as well. You might also avail of occupational therapy. Then there's also educational support workers, specialised academic support, application for residential accommodation, and professional placements planning support. So this is particularly important if you're doing a course that has a professional placement, such as nursing or social work. This is just a slide on the Trinity Ability Co-op. So the co-op was founded in May 2020, and it is a student-led initiative to work towards greater inclusion of students with disabilities in Trinity. So it is a great way to get to know other students with disabilities. You may or may not have had similar organisations in your secondary school, but or you might not know other people that have disabilities. So it is a great way to get to know other students with disabilities and, you know, maybe what their experience was in second level education, and work on awareness projects. So a few projects that have been previously worked on is projects producing guidelines for clubs and societies to use to be more inclusive to students with disabilities. And we also did a short film outlining 3 students with disabilities' journey through Trinity as a student with a disability. So it's also a great way to develop skills such as leadership, communication and creativity through disability awareness projects. So if there's something that you are really passionate about, or you feel like there's not enough awareness on how to communicate with deaf people, or you know, you feel like the voices of students with disabilities isn't being taken into account when planning teaching and learning, this is something that you may consider getting involved in. So if you can find out more about the co-op at our website at abilitycoop.com, and you can find the guidelines and blog posts as well from other students, so it's good to keep an eye on that. If you have any other questions about disability supports in Trinity, you can just email askds@tcd.ie and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So thank you for listening, and this is the information. So our website is www.tcd.ie/disability, or email askds@tcd.ie. And then our phone number is 087 113 3185. Thank you.